Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our discussion on the elements of teaching and learning. This is one of the topics under the subject principles of teaching. So tonight, we're going to discuss about the elements of teaching and learning, which includes the teacher, the learner, and a conducive learning environment. So when a positive relationship exists among these elements, it can make learning more precise and predictable. No? So the teacher serves as the prime mover of the educational wheel, while the learner is the key participant in the learning process. So with a favorable environment, it provides essential features and ingredients that could make a headway in guiding the teaching and learning process and methodologies needed for smooth linkages among the three elements. So remember, the elements of teaching and learning are the teacher, and the learner, and the conducive learning environment. So, ano ba yung mga roles nilang tatlo sa teaching and learning process? And paano ba nakakaapekto or nakaka-contribute ang pagkakaroon ng isang positive and conducive learning environment sa learning ng mga bata? And all of those questions will be answered after after our discussions. Okay, so as we proceed, again, let's proceed to the learner. So every child is a potential genius. Yan dapat yung nasa isip natin, no? Na yung mga estudyante natin, though ngayon, they may not act, no? They may not be that competitive, they may not be that knowledgeable, but later on, they will know more better than us, no? That's the nature of the learners, no? They are potential geniuses in the near future. Okay, so learner is an embodied spirit, meaning to say, he or she is a union of of a rational soul, no? His or her body experiences sensations and feels pleasure and pain just like other human beings, no? His or her soul is the principle of spiritual acts, the source of intellectual abstraction, self-reflection, and free rational volition. Meaning to say, nag-iisip sila, nakakaramdam, nakaka-realize, no? And they also capable of reflecting. So body and soul exist in mutual dependence. As teachers, then, let us care for the embodied spirit learner. So let us feed their bodies as well as their spirit, no? Kumbaga, hindi lang natin sila tinuturuan, no? Intellectually, but also merong affective part, no, na dapat nating focusan din, no? So later on, we'll know more about the fundamental equipments of the learners, which includes the cognitive, affective, and physical faculties na meron sila. Okay, so as I have said, no, the first thing that we're going to discuss about those fundamental equipments is the first one, the cognitive faculties, no. Learners is equipped, no, with cognitive as well as appetitive faculties, no. His or her cognitive faculties include the five senses, instinct, no, that's one. Two, the third one is imagination, memory, and intellect. All of those are part, no, of the cognitive faculties. Now, by his or her senses, the learner is able to see, hear, feel, taste, and smell whatever is to be learned. And by the power of imagination, the learner is able to form representations of material objects which are not actually present to the senses. And by his power of memory, he is able to retain, recall, and recognize past mental acts. No? So the last one is By his or her intellect, she can form concepts, judgments, concepts or ideas, judgments. They're able also to reason out. No? So that's the cognitive faculties of learners. Okay. So on the other hand, we have also the appetitive faculties. No? In the appetitive faculties, it has two categories: the feelings or emotion. When we say feelings and emotion, it could be an on or off switch for learning. So positive feelings and emotions make the teaching and learning process an exciting and a joyful, fruitful affair. Negative feelings and emotions make the same process a burden, and the lessons that we learn and remember most are those that have struck us in one way or another. So while we learn, we also feel, no? We may feel joy while we learn, or we may feel not happy while we learn. So, dahil tao lang din yung mga bata, may mga times din talaga na hindi sila makikinig, at may mga times na talagang very active sila. So, that explains kung bakit meron tayong appetitive faculties. Okay, we have also the rational will. So when we say rational will, that serves, no, as guiding force and the main integrating force in learner's character. No, by the learner's will, he or she, the learner's will, the learner wills that what his or her intellect presents as good and desirable. Meaning to say, yung will nila, yung gana nila, or yung eagerness nila to learn will drive them actually to learn, no? That's the concept of rational will. So it is their free will that will allow them to learn or not to learn totally, no? This means that the degree to which the learner is influenced by his or her environment depends ultimately on the strength of his or her will. So, nakadepende pa rin yan kung ano yung surroundings niya. So, the learner whose will is weak will easily succumb to the bad influence of his or her peer group, even if his or her intellect tells him or her not. Now, but the learner with a strong will shall resist the temptation to be influenced by bad peer group. Therefore, the focus of values education should be the strengthening of the will. No, so that's the appetitive faculties. Okay, so there are 5 distinguishing elements of the learner. As we all know, all learners are equipped with the cognitive and appetitive faculties, and they differ, however, in the degree to which they are utilized and expressed on account of the learner's abilities, aptitudes, interests, values, and attitudes, and home background. And let us take a look once more at the learner from the point of view of these 5 distinguishing elements. And the first one is the ability. Now, when we say ability, it dictates the prospects of success in purposeful activity. So, meaning to say, the learner's proficiency in memorization, in imagination, in concept formation, reasoning, judging, and other cognitive skills are contingent on their endowed potential to learn. No? So, yung ability nila or yung capacity nila to understand, no, and assimilate information for their own use and application, yun yung minimin natin na ability. No? So, as learners, they differ in the way they observe. Iba-iba sila. No? Yung iba is, they can think faster, they can think slowly, or others are just average. No? So, as learners, they differ in the way they observe and interpret happenings in their surroundings. Some are more perceptive and discerning while others are less inquisitive. Now, meaning to say, may mga bata na palatanong at may mga bata din talaga na hindi nagtatanong. Kumbaga, they are not that totally active kapag nandyan si teacher. No? So, meron tayong tinatawag na mental ability. So, students can be categorized into superior, above average, average, and below average. So, a wide range in their intelligence is a factor to consider in planning instruction. Meaning to say, kung yung mga bata ay under superior, then you need to make your discussions or yung mga examples mo or yung lessons mo more advanced. While kung below average naman, then you need to adjust your instruction. No? The next one is the aptitude. Aptitude refers to the learner's innate talent or gift. Now, it indicates a natural capacity to learn certain skills. So the powers of memory, imagination, concept formation, reasoning, and judgment on matters related to the arts function best for those who exhibit special inclination for the arts such as painting and designing crafts, propensity for music, and flair for dramatics.